All righty, what's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we got a lot to talk about because on a Tuesday, Ian Begley was talking about Kristaps Porzingis and the likelihood of him being a New York Knick again. So we're going to break that down. And then my guy, Hahn of the Knicks Fix. If you know, you know. I remember being like 12 years old, putting posts up on the Knicks Fix, getting my early GM days on. And my guy Hahn was on Get Up this morning over on ESPN and pretty much said if Bradley Beal does become available, he is expecting the New York Knicks to be extremely aggressive. So we're going to talk about Beal. We're going to talk about Porzingis. And then for our second segment of the show today, I put on my GM hat because we've been talking about a lot of rumors here on the show, and that's what we do. We talk about the latest news and rumors. And we've talked pretty much about every single possible player that the New York Knicks could have been linked to and have been linked to so far this offseason. Now I'm going to put my GM hat on, and I'm going to map out the perfect offseason plan for the New York Knicks if I was the general manager. I tried to stay pretty realistic, and I tried to think through a lens of what I think the New York Knicks could actually do. And I'm going to say the team I put together, we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. But let's get the comment section going. If you're a real one, if you bleed orange and blue, you love the New York Knicks, and you support New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports, I need you to type real one down in the comment section. We'll give you some shout-outs. One thing we pride ourselves, and I really pride myself, is showing love to the people that show love to us. Audience engagement. There's a lot of Knicks shows on YouTube, but I know this for a fact. Nobody engages with the audience quite like we do, and I really take pride in that. So if you want some love, you want to shout it on today's show, go ahead and type real one down below as the real ones are flying in. Shout out to my guy, Knicks Galaxy, always tuning in. Fabian Williams, what's up, man? My guy, Tyler T, what's up, man? My guy, Meladu, MD, that's what we're going with. Hopefully it's not 2020. What's up, bro? Carl's in the chat. I was chopping it up with my guy Carl last night. Carl, I gave you a little sneak peek of our perfect offseason, so I hope you approve, my man. BK Ray, what's going on, Brody? Steven Vargas says DeJounte Murray. That's one player we haven't quite talked about. We talked about him a couple times last offseason, and I was cool with the idea of adding DeJounte Murray, but I don't think that I know there was that report that the Hawks may listen to DeJounte Murray trades, but I'm really not all that interested in Murray. Look, the Hawks gave up 3 unprotected first-round picks for Murray, and I'm not willing to match that offer, to be quite frank with you. Dave McDrip says, what's up, real one? You're the real one. What's up, man? R Cool C. Oh, is that a URC? RC Cool C? 66, what's up, bro? I am Jules is in the building, a legend. What up? Lexoskeleton, Felicia Lee, and Steve Q. What's up, man? He said, real one, Knicks aren't desperate. Retool bunch, add shooters. Retool the bench and add shooters. The Knicks, I think Seep's definitely got to add some shooters. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that in your little perfect offseason. I will say Marsh hops in his bag for this perfect offseason. Like the Knicks, they are stacked if they had Marsh running the team. I absolutely love it. I'm excited.
We didn't go all in, though.
No.
We didn't go all in.
Move. Wasn't all in, but the Knicks, if this happens, 65-plus wins next year.
I tried to keep that in mind. I wasn't trying to go all in, and because I don't think either of the moves that, or I'm not going to give it away, but a couple of the moves I made, I think it moves the needle. I think the Knicks are much better than they would have been if they just ran it back. But yeah. I wanted to keep the idea of if a real superstar becomes available with the moves that I made, Seeps, the Knicks are still in position to make those moves.
Yeah, and that's why I tell you what, this roster, I don't want to talk about it too much because the roster's loaded top to bottom. And you also had a sneaky little superstar. Star, I don't know.
He's a star. He's not a superstar.
Yeah.
I will, one day this summer, tier all top 50 players in the NBA because I believe there's superstars, I believe there's stars, I believe there's all-stars, and then you got good and great role players. That's my tier system.
I like that. That'll be fun.
And I'm being tough on superstars. I only know if there's about 3. There may only be 3 or 4 superstars in the NBA right now.
And I agree. Superstars got to be ones on championship teams.
What about, would you consider a player a superstar if they don't make the playoffs?
I already know where you're kind of going with this. I don't know. Probably not. I mean,
I'm just saying.
But then again, I would also consider the one guy you're talking about a superstar, I think.
He's a star. Fringe. He's in between. There's a space. There is. You got superstars and you got stars. And he's in between that. But he's got to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Look, we know in the NBA one guy can change the success of a team.
Yeah.
And if you can't even make the play-in, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem in my opinion. But I want to ask this question before we get to my guy, Ant Barrett. We'll get to that in a second. Ant Benrod with a $2 super chat. We appreciate you, my man. He says, Lavine is staying in Chicago. Go Bulls. Well, step number 1, make sure you subscribe to the Chicago Bulls Report by Chat Sports. My guy Seeps has been crushing it over there, putting a lot of work in. Mad respect to him. Seeps, what's the little link you got over there?
The little link?
Yeah, a little sub link. What is it? YouTube.com/Bulls Report?
At Bulls Report.
At Bulls Report.
YouTube.com at Bulls Report.
Ant Benrod. Sub. If you're actually a Bulls fan, no one's doing it better on YouTube than my guy Seeps. Says Lavine is staying in Chicago. Seeps, what are the % chance that Lavine is a Bull game 1?
I think it's pretty high. I think it's at least 70, 80, I'm probably guessing. But what are the % chance that I think Lavine ends the season a Bull? I'd probably say less than 50. I think he'll probably be dealt during the trade deadline. That would be my guess. All
right. You heard it from the man himself. Ant Benrod, we appreciate the super chat, my man. We got a super chat menu. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I want to get you guys back in the comment section. So the season is over. As my man John Borelli is in the chat. Borelli, what's up, Brody? That dude on the Heat Report last night, Borelli, giving you noise. F that guy. F that guy. I'm John Borelli 2024. You know who I'm riding with. Brian blows. I do want to ask this question, though. What is your goal for the Knicks next season? Knicks, I think, overachieved by a good bit this past year. My goal for the Knicks was to be a top 6 seed and make the playoffs and not be a play-in team. They did that. They won a series, and they went 6 games with the Miami Heat. Was it disappointing in the way and the fashion they lost? No doubt about it. But Seeps, my goal for the Knicks this upcoming season is conference finals or bust. You don't have to win it. Just get there.
I feel like that's got to be everybody's goal. I feel like that's got to be also the organization's goal too. We took a huge step forward. We set the culture. We set kind of the precedent. Let's go kind of take that next leap.
Yeah, I agree. You can't take steps backwards in a retool and things like that. So I want to ask you guys, get down in the comment section. Let me know, what is your goal for the Knicks next season? My guy Steven Vargas says Eastern Conference Finals. I'm right there with you. I don't know if you can get to the Eastern Conference Finals if you just run this back, though. I think you got to make some noise and make a couple of moves. My guy T. Williams says go get a draft pick. For next season, the Knicks have 4 first-round picks, so I don't really understand that one. If you could talk me through that one, I'm down to do that. Blair says Eastern Conference Finals. 90s Knicks, what's good, Brody? He says the Eastern Conference Finals. Easy. I agree. Yeah. I agree. Feliciano, KP won't be free. Oh, good. Kristaps Porzingis. I am not looking forward to talking about that one.
He put up good numbers this past year.
He did.
Mark. He had a good year.
I love myself some Tingus Pingus. But you know what? Tingus Pingus for Knicks fans is like that one really hot girl in high school that you used to mess around with, but you just kind of went your separate ways in college. But, when you get back together with the buddies and all the homies that you grew up with in high school, you're throwing back beers like, dude, what about you and that girl? Whatever happened there? It's like, close the freaking yearbook. We're done with Kristaps Porzingis. On to the next.
But this is kind of just like, she went and she made herself better. She went and she hopped in the lab a little bit, and now it's like post-college, and you see
Did he get better, though? He's 28. That thing was wet when he was 20. He's 28. He's used and abused now.
I don't know. Maybe it ages like fine wine, Marsh. You never know.
Oh, Lordy. We'll talk about Kristaps Porzingis coming up in a second. But my guy Jameer CP, what's up, man? He says, first off, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Goes a long way here on the channel. He says, I think the Knicks are going to add a few pieces in the offseason. Nothing too big, but the Knicks waiting patiently for Donovan Mitchell again. I've been reluctant to talk about Donovan Mitchell on the channel, but I don't think I can avoid the unavoidable anymore. The Knicks are 100% still watching the Donovan Mitchell situation. Brian Windhorst said it, and I'll probably do it on tomorrow's video. Brian Windhorst pretty much said that if you're a Cav fan, you should be worried about Donovan Mitchell wanting to play for the New York Knicks. I don't know. I do believe that the Knicks want to wait until he's a free agent. I don't know what's the point of trading for him if you know he's going to come here. Sure. But, hey, we traded for Carmelo Anthony, and we knew he wanted to come here. So, I don't know. My guy, Big Nick Energy, what's up, bro? Shout out to Big Nick Energy. They're starting up their YouTube channel, or I guess rebooting it, putting some more resources into that. Go sub over there. They do great stuff. And follow them on Twitter. They're a really good Twitter follow as well, and they got some good guys over there. We do have a super chat menu for today's show. Every $10 super chats, I'm taking some tequila shots. We haven't really been in our bag lately on the show. So I got myself some Silver Patron. Seeps, you're on the 1800?
1800.
1800.
Oh.
So honestly, you got to do it, though. This is what we built our brand on.
Yeah, I mean, we were Fireball guys, and we
grew up.
Then we graduated, and now we're in our prime right now. We're in our tequila prime.
Too much sugar, too many calories in these Fireball shots.
Exactly. And then next year, it might just be the Hennessy as we ride it off into the sunset.
Straight Henny.
Yeah,
straight Henny. We did the hen dog a couple of times during the season.
That was a weird phase.
Yeah, that was a weird phase. But I think it made us better.
It did make us better.
It made us better.
It added some grit and some integrity to the show.
It did. Every $50 super chat, and if we get to $50 in super chats, we'll do our classic beer shot fun race. And if someone wants to become a member of the Knicks Now Hall of Fame, you only got so much time left, Seeps, because this wall will be retired when preseason starts for the New York Knicks. We carried this board all year long. The top part, we call it the Real One Hall of Fame, but this is the Hall of Fame of the channel. If you send in a $100 super chat, we add you to the backboard. Not a whole lot of space left, but we can always make room, Seeps, for more real ones.
Definitely.
So that is our super chat menu on today's show. It's my man John Borelli, a goat bat. What up, Brody? He's not sure what was up. Yeah, dude, that guy was tripping last night.
Yeah,
you were saying GG, and yeah, honestly, it was ridiculous, John Borelli. Just know I got your back. If we got to go, John Borelli's a foxhole guy.
Oh, he
to quote
is
Chase
a
Senior.
Guy.
To quote Chase Senior.
Definition of a foxhole guy.
Honestly, Borelli.
I love that saying.
That dude was a fraud. That dude was a fraud. You're my man, Borelli. You know that. We appreciate you always riding or dying with us here at Chat Sports. We got 185 people watching. Shout out to you guys for tuning in. But only 28 likes. Seeps, that feels like someone just flicking my sack right now. I'm not appreciating that.
I'm about to throw up.
I am not appreciating that. If we get to 69 likes, I'm taking a shot at tequila to start today's show. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it freaking rolling. 190 people watching.
I thought we were better than this.
We are better than this. This is a joke. This is some BS.
I feel like a disappointed father right now in you guys.
I am disappointed. I want to show some love to the people that showed love. If you like the video, comment me down below, and we'll give you a shout out. 190 people watching. That number is going to continue to go up and up and up, and so should that like number. We're only at 48 likes. Do y'all even freaking want a show today?
I guess not.
Because we put a lot of effort into this piece, and I'm not a fan of this.
No, I'm not. I feel a little offended right now.
Unbelievable. I am Jules, of course, like the video. Shout out to Tyler, Steven, 90s Knicks, Andrizzy, Christopher, Maya's World, Feliciano, Jet Life, For Life, my guy, what up, bro? Carl, LaFlame, is in the chat. What up? John Borelli says, like that video. John knows ball. Shout out to Jason, Easy P, Tayshawn, Joel. BX Mel says, I want another player, just not Cat. I do not want Karl Anthony Towns on the Knicks.
He's too soft.
I just can't root for that guy. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I just won't do it. Chris, I appreciate you. Juan says, yeah, what it do, baby? What up, man? What up? What up? Raymond says, me, go get Wiggins. I don't know if my guys over at Big Nick Energy are still watching, but they kind of reported, not really reported, don't want to put words in their mouth, but they said there was some smoke last year about the Knicks trading for Andrew Wiggins. So shout out to them.
He would be a good fit.
I would take Wiggins, but I don't think Wiggins moves the needle like that.
Nah.
Would be a good addition, but I don't think he's a needle mover. Cat has no dog in him. That's a very polite way to put that. Carl says Carl is a great name. Yeah, but if you spell Carl with a K, you're a cop.
Exactly. I was just gonna say Carl. Thank you.
He said it. He's a fugazi. Anyone who spells Carl with a K is a fugazi. All right, 190 people watching. We only have 67 likes.
I want to take this so bad.
Honestly, I'm going to pour up a shot as well once we get to 169 likes. We got 190 people watching. Come on, hit the frickin' thumbs up icon.
Stop being weird.
Stop being cops. I bet there's a whole bunch of Heat fans in here that haven't liked the video.
There's a bunch of 12 in the chat.
As Seeps, this is a big deal. Our guy Knicks Galaxy just came through.
Let's go.
With a $20 super chat. Show my man some love. Knicks Galaxy literally is the definition of a real one. He shows love to Seeps over on the Bulls Report. He's ride or die with Chat Sports, and he's always stepping up, like my man Carl said, and showing love. Knicks Galaxy, I really appreciate you. I hope you know that, man. You're always showing love to us.
I do too. Knicks Galaxy, every time I post a video, you are the first one that comments.
Dude, he's a freaking diehard.
Every single time.
I fucking love this guy.
Makes my day.
Knicks Galaxy, this one's for you, Brody. Cheers.
Cheers. Just like a little, like, you know what, let's get going. That's what that was.
It got a little hotter in this room, I'll tell you that much. I'm only chasing this with more liquor, so don't judge me. All righty. We got to 74 likes. Shout out to you guys.
We won't yell at you anymore.
No more yelling at you, but just like the video on the way in, or we'll just shut the stream down. We do have a Q&A coming up in about 45 minutes or so. So if you want your question to be featured on the mailbag, you got two options. You can either A, use hashtag Knicks down in the comment section. We will answer a question about absolutely anything if you use hashtag Knicks.
Anything.
But if you want to guarantee your spot on the show today, a super chat. A super chat will guarantee your spot on the show. I want to hear from you guys because we don't really, during the season, we were live 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week, and we always got to chop it up. I got to hear what you guys were thinking. I want to know what you guys want to do in the offseason. So you can just tell me what you want to do. Just include hashtag Knicks or super chat. I want to chop it up with the real ones. So I'm calling on the real ones, especially you, Carl, and you, Carl. Knicks Galaxy. Hashtag Knicks in the comments. I want to hear.
That's a question, Carl. I'll be looking for yours.
Facts. We're going to talk about my perfect offseason plan in about 15 minutes. Let's start with the rumors of the day, though, surrounding the New York Knicks. What's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we're going to be breaking down the latest news and rumors surrounding the orange and blue. And our guy, Alan Hahn, shout out to the Knicks Fix, one of the greatest Facebook pages of all time. If you know, you know. He went on to ESPN's Get Up this morning and talked about the idea, or pretty much said the Knicks are interested in Bradley Beal. So we'll break down his quotes. And then earlier this week, my guy Ian Begley of SNY talked about Kristaps Porzingis as a player the New York Knicks could potentially look to go after an NBA free agency. He talked about how it could happen and if it will happen. So we're talking Beal, we're talking Porzingis, but I'm talking about you subscribing to the channel because we put out videos every day on the latest Knicks news and rumors, and we just crossed over 25,000 subs on the channel, and I want to say thank you to everybody that has hit that sub button. And I'm going to give shout-outs to people that comment me in today's video. If you're subscribed, type me, and I'm giving shout-outs. Let's start with Bradley Beal, though, as ESPN's Hahn brought up the idea of the Knicks trading for Bradley Beal. And he did more than just bring up the idea. There was some segment that they have now on ESPN's Get Up about Brian Windhorst, and they got on the topic of Bradley Beal. And this is what my guy, Hahn, had to say. He said, I would imagine if Bradley Beal does become available, you would see the Knicks be very aggressive in trying to get him. You put him next to Jalen Brunson, and you got a backcourt that is one of the best in the league as far as scoring goes. Very unstoppable. He is at a point in his career where he is about winning. The Knicks have all the things the Wizards would need. And he was obviously talking about young players and draft picks. And I don't want to toot my own horn a little bit, but a month ago I said that Bradley Beal was one of the top players that I would want to pursue this offseason because Bradley Beal and Jalen Brunson, I believe, are perfect complements to each other in that backcourt. Go back to the NBA postseason when the Knicks beat the Cavs, but also when the Knicks lost to the Heat. When the Knicks were at their best, the ball was moving, the offense was running through Jalen Brunson. But they didn't have anybody else that they could run the offense through. They didn't have anyone else that could dribble the basketball, that could play, make, and get buckets for themselves. Bradley Beal, he could do that. You could legitimately have either Bradley Beal or Jalen Brunson on the floor at all times and have a great guard to run the offense. My concerns with Bradley Beal, though, are injuries and contract. We'll talk about that. But when you talk about Bradley Beal, he's one of the best pure scorers in the NBA. That's why the guy in 2019 and 2020 averaged over 30 points per game. Came down to 23 points per game in the last two seasons. But I'll take a guy that's giving me 23 points per game, 5 assists, 50+% from the deck, and 36.5% from downtown. And I think the way that he goes about scoring, his shot profile and his offensive archetype fits perfectly. He can come off back screens. He can come off a pin down. He can run sideline to sideline. And he can ISO score and take the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hand. But like we talked about, the games missed and the injuries are a concern. You saw on screen he hasn't played over 50 games in the last two seasons. And also, he's due a lot of freaking money. $46 million this upcoming year, then 50, then 53, then 57. Then he would be a free agent in 2027 as he's 34 years old. Also, he has a no-trade clause. So if the Washington Wizards were to move on from Bradley Beal, he gets to choose where his next destination would be. And I think he would accept a trade to the New York Knicks. But as I do have my concerns, I want to put this out in the air. The perfect player does not exist. You can legitimately find a hole in every single person's game. Jokic, he's slow and unathletic. Giannis, he can't shoot. Steph Curry, he's got ankle problems and he's small. LeBron James, he's got a bad hairline and he's never been a clutch player. You can find something to gripe about with every single player. So the idea that we don't want to make a move for a player because they have a blemish is something that I can't just rock with anymore. Bradley Beal will be a great player for the Knicks to go out and make a move for. And now is the time to make a trade for the New York Knicks. One, because they have a win now roster and a team that should be trying to compete for a Larry O'Brien trophy. Two, the new CBA kicks in the 2024 season, and it is much harder to acquire players of high salary cap numbers. It's going to be much harder for teams to pull off trades in this new CBA. The time for the Knicks to strike, the time for the Knicks to go out and make a move for a star is now. Reason I didn't say superstar is because there are no superstars available. So before we talk about Kristaps Porzingis, I want to get you guys involved in the comments section. Should the Knicks trade for Bradley Beal? Hahn thinks so. I think so. It always comes down to the cost. Probably going to have to give up RJ Barrett or Julius Randle. So factor that in. Couple of first-round picks as well. Should the Knicks make a move for Bradley Beal? Type T for trade, P for pass. We're talking Tingus Pingus in just a second. But first, I got an awesome deal that you guys should take advantage of. When you go to chatsports.com/KnicksCombo, chatsports.com/KnicksCombo, you get two T-shirts. Two T-shirts for $29.99. You can barely get a chopped cheese these days for $29.99. Get yourself 2 Knicks t-shirts. Deal's not going to last forever, so go down in the comments section and click the link and get to shopping, or just go to chatsports.com/Knicks combo. All righty, good old Kristaps Porzingis. A lot of smoke has been surrounding the Knicks and Kristaps Porzingis and a potential reunion. Porzingis has been on the record saying they didn't like the way things unfolded during his time with the New York Knicks, said it was his favorite place to play, said that he didn't think that the Knicks and MSG was like that. He thought he could go and find that everywhere else. And he realized as soon as he started to play for the Mavericks and the Washington Wizards, there's no better franchise to play with than the New York Knicks. I think Porzingis wants to be a Knick again. Thing is, how can the Knicks make that possible? Ian Begley via SNY said this: the Knicks don't have the cap space to sign Porzingis, so they need to add him via a sign-and trade with Washington. Porzingis would help the Knicks spread the floor for Brunson, RJ, and Julius Randle, although Randle or Barrett would probably be in the trade. Any sign-and-trade for Porzingis would also likely include Mitchell Robinson if the Knicks withheld Barrett or Randle from the deal. The prospect of bringing Porzingis back to New York on a long-term deal may look good on paper, but it would be a significant commitment for the Knicks, and it doesn't seem like a path they'd go down at this time. My first reaction to all of this, and it always is the fit is intriguing, no doubt about it. Because when you talk about the Knicks' best players, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickley, and it's really the case with all good offensive players. They operate best in space. And having Mitchell Robinson at the 5 kind of clutters the paint. It kind of clutters the spacing. Throw in a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, who shot 38.5% from downtown this year, and how the Knicks know that, Knicks fans especially, know that Porzingis is one of the best shooting bigs in the NBA, that's going to open up the floor. More driving lanes for Brunson, more driving lanes for Barrett or Randle, whichever one you keep. We know that. It's just I have concerns. I know the numbers look great. 23 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, 50% from the deck, and 38.5% from downtown. And Porzingis was relatively healthy this year, played the most games in an NBA season in a long, long time for him. But the injuries still concern me. He's not getting any younger. He's not getting any shorter. Tall, lengthy athletes like Kristaps Porzingis concern me. It also concerns me that in the 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 season, the guy played in 199 games. You don't just shake being an injury-prone player. It stinks. This isn't Vegas. It sticks with you. You're going to be injury-prone your entire NBA career. Would Porzingis make the Knicks better? I agree. But I'm just not sure it's worth it. Is it worth giving up RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson? I don't know. And the Kristaps Porzingis back to the Knicks rumors are fun, no doubt about it. There's nothing like getting together with your homies that you grew up with, throwing back some shots, throwing back some beers, and reminiscing of the glory days. But it's time to close the yearbook. It's over. It's done with. You're never going to do the things you want to do with that one girl from high school. It's done. Close the book. It's over. You're on to bigger and better things. Thanks, but no thanks, Tingus Pingus. I don't think the Knicks should bring him back. But hey, this show's not all about me, and I value the opinion of everybody that watches this program. So I want to ask you, should the Knicks bring back Porzingis? Do you want to see him back with the Knicks? I have a feeling I know what everyone's going to say. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I do know this. If we do get more news and rumors surrounding Porzingis, Beal, or the New York Knicks, we're going to put out a video. So make sure you subscribe. Go ahead and do it right now. Hit that big red button. Oh, man.
Oh, that would be a good fit, but I get what you're saying. Like, it would be a very fun fit for the Knicks.
It would be cool for that push note he would hit hard.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That would be sweet.
And I would talk myself into it. I would. I Porzingis doesn't deserve the success the Knicks are about to have.
Oh,
Maybe
okay,
I'm being spiteful. Maybe I'm being spiteful. Do we really want to hook our wagon to a player that can't stay healthy?
Also, I mean, he averaged 23.8 points a game. I'm sorry, I just don't think his game can do that in the playoffs. He could be like a 15 to 16 a game guy in the playoffs, but I don't know. But then again, like if it's a close game 5 in the second round and it's 2-2, who even knows if he's gonna be there? Like,
he's a good player, a lot of fun, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I would make the move for Porzingis. And according to Begley, doesn't sound like the Knicks are all that interested. As we did get a $50 super chat from the GOAT, Rob Rodriguez. Bang, my man, coming in with a $50 super chat. Rob, we appreciate you, my man. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Show my guy some love. Type those double R's in the comments section. We got a couple of double R's here. Good initials. Good initials. We got Rich Rob. We got Rob Rod. Shout out to you, my man. What's going on? What's going on, Brody? Rob, do you want the Knicks to bring back Porzingis? Do you want Porzingis back on the Knicks, Rob? Let me know. Let me know. Let me see what the comments are saying. Sherwin says, good afternoon. Beal, Lavine, or Porzingis? No to all of them. Sherwin, I love how committed you are to your Julius Randle takes. I respect that. I respect that, my man. Yeah. Do you? But yeah, I'm good. I do. Sherwin says, Brandon Ingram or Jalen Brown? I don't know if I want Jalen Brown on the Knicks, to be honest with you. He's a good player. I just don't know if there's that much of a difference between Jalen Brown and RJ Barrett. I don't. Bless One says, Beal can't stay healthy either. That's fair. That's fair. That's why Beal's not going in my perfect offseason video that we're going to talk about in 5 minutes. But like we said, not every player, there's no perfect players out there. There's no perfect players out there. Big Blue says Jimmy Butler trade. I know there's a couple people that want Jimmy Butler. And I'd take him. I'd take him.
Actually, the leader of the Jimmy Butler hate club is actually Marshall Green. So.
I would call that the realist club. Don't tell me, Jimmy Butler, that you don't care about individual honors and individual awards, but you also texted Taylor Rooks you were the best player in the NBA, and you paraded around the court saying, this is my shit. You can't have it both ways, Seeps. You can't have it both ways.
You are very critical of him.
I'm holding him to the superstar status you guys say he's at.
And I agree, and he's not.
He's fuck no, he's not a superstar. No, I'd put him top 10. I'd put Jimmy Butler top 10. There's only... How many superstars are there? No. Not yet. No. 3? Are there 3 superstars in the NBA? Giannis, Jokic, Curry. Agreed. Those are 3 superstars.
Yeah.
I'm putting KD in the star. I'm putting KD as a star.
That's tough, man. He has been a fraud as of late.
That's just my. I think there might only be 3.
Yeah. Not putting Luka in there.
You got to make the playoffs if you want to be a superstar, or the play-in.
Embiid is just too hurt. Like,
Embiid, star, not a superstar, not a star. You got superstars, you got stars, and you got all-stars. Yeah, that's why I said he's top 10 player.
Butler and Tatum are kind of like same boat to me. Like,
Carl says, is LeBron a superstar? Not at this current juncture. In my rankings. These are my rankings. No, I wouldn't say he is. Giannis Coker, KD, Tatum, Embiid, and LeBron are all superstars. I can't put Embiid as a superstar. Never been out of the second round. I know I said superstar and then star. There's a little gray area. I think Luka and Tatum are in that gray area. No, Jimmy's a star. He's for sure a star. Because if he was the second best player on a team, that team could legit easily win. But he's like overachieved so much. It's like we're trying to put him in a class that he's just not. But he's just overachieved. There's nothing wrong with being a top 10 player. Dude, he's been bad for about a month. R. Cool says Booker. Booker's a star. He's a star. Booker's a star. Jeremy, Jokic, Steph, and Giannis. I'm cool with saying there's only 3 superstars in the NBA.
Those are probably the 3 best players in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Jokic gets top nod.
Yeah. Agreed. Jalen's a star for me. Jalen's a star. Not in the gray area of superstar or star, but I would say Jalen Brunson is a star. I would say so. Kawhi Leonard, when healthy, I could argue he's a superstar, but he's never healthy, so there's no point. He was when he was on the Spurs, he wasn't a superstar then, but he was definitely a superstar on the Raptors. Oroku says Brunson is a superstar. By my definition of superstar, I just can't put him there yet. And you guys know I'm the biggest Jalen Brunson fan there is. Damian Lillard is not a superstar. He wouldn't be demanding a trade if he was a superstar. Yeah, exactly. All righty, we got a beer shot fun. Shout out to my guy Rob Rod. We're up to $82 in soups. If we get to 100, we'll do another one. Shout out to you guys. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Woo! Let's freaking ride. That was wild. Oh, those sneak up on you, man. Woo! Look, I know we got a whole bunch of Mavs fans that work here, see, and we don't have to agree. I would rather us not agree. I just don't understand how you can call someone a superstar if your team doesn't even make the play-in. It's the NBA. You have 5 people on the court.
And plus, 20 teams make the play-in.
Dude, so you have, 20 teams.
But it's also, the only thing with Luka, if there's any guy that is going to get in after next season, I think it would be him.
Yeah, that's why I got him above star, but below superstar.
He's knocking on the door. He's knocking on the door.
I think he took a step back this year. Last year I would have said he was a superstar.
Yeah, he carried a shitty Mavs team, but also
just think about it like this, Steve. Think about it like this.
He's a tough guy, though. Tough guy.
Porzingis got better immediately once he left the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Brunson got better immediately when he left the Mavericks.
That's just because he's probably had the highest usage rate since he came into the league. I don't know. Maybe this
Luka kind of gives me right now vibes of LeBron in Cleveland, even though LeBron in Cleveland, when he got to that point, never missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to build that team around him because the ball was in his hands so much.
I'll make a egregious comparison. Jordan, when he started. Jordan was ball dominant. It was all about me getting buckets. I'm the show until Mr. Phil Jackson came in and had to tell him, no, you're going to give up some of these shots. You're going to get it to Scotty. We're going to develop some of these other guys. Maybe he could be on that.
Tell you what.
Or it could just be Westbrook. I don't know.
Kyrie Irving ain't that teammate. I don't know. I'm also very bullish on Kyrie. Great. He's really good at dribbling the basketball, and he's got an elite finishing package.
He can do anything on the basketball court.
Except win. He
Well,
hasn't won a playoff game since 2021.
That was 2 years ago.
That's an eternity.
Well, like, he was dealing with the joke of the Brooklyn Nets, which he contributed to.
He was the joke of the Brooklyn Nets. What do you mean?
I'm always pro Kyrie. I've always been pro Kyrie.
Great individual talent.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, pound for pound, it's him or Curry.
When you go to the Celtics and they instantly become a perennial title contender when you leave, and
or even just a year he got hurt. Him and Tatum and Brown almost went to the finals.
I don't know. I think to be a superstar, you got to elevate others around you. I just don't know if Luka and Kyrie do that. Just my take. Johnson, $5 super chat. I appreciate you, homie. He says, why is everybody hyping up Van Fleet in free agency? Man is shooting 39% for the field and 34% from three. We got to stay away from. The Knicks will not even negotiate with Fred Van Fleet. That's not something to worry about. I just think it's the fact, Seeps, and you can weigh in as well. I just think the free agency class sucks right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the fact that he's probably the best name for a guard, it's a little sad, but the efficiency, he did have a very high usage rate this year. I mean, he averaged 20 and 7. I don't know if that was a huge contributor, but I do think if his usage rate goes down, I do think the efficiency can go up. Because we saw it when he was the third, fourth option on the championship team back in Toronto when they won it all. But
I'm just curious, like, what team could he sign with and not be the first or second option?
Especially if he's going to be going for 35 mil.
Dude, he's a scrappy player. I respect his hustle. I respect the grind. I wouldn't want him as my point guard, though.
Yeah.
He's one he was coming off the bench on those title teams.
And he only averaged, I think it was like 12 points a game in those playoffs.
He didn't start a single game. He averaged like 15 in the finals. He started to get more minutes there. He's a good player. But like my man Felicia, or woman, excuse me, my girl, Felicia says, Van Fleet to Sixers if Harden leaves.
That seems too obvious.
Are they better, though? I think you can almost argue if you just swap out Harden for Van Fleet, run back the same Sixers team.
Probably the same.
Are they the same? Are they better or are they worse?
Probably the same result.
Yeah, I would say same result, maybe a smidge worse.
Yeah.
Because Harden, he took on a bulk of that scoring load.
He did. I mean, the 2 playoff games they won was because of Harden.
I just don't see Van Fleet having double 40 balls in a playoff series.
Yeah. Philly is all about Embiid's health. We can talk about all the bullshit we want with them. It just all comes down to the health.
Agreed. We're going to get into my perfect offseason plan coming up in a second, but we want to incentivize you guys to get your questions in for a mailbag coming up around the corner. I love just chopping it up with you guys back and forth, just getting our thoughts out there. If you want to be featured on today's mailbag, you can super chat like a couple of real ones already have. Shout out to you guys. Or just use hashtag Knicks in the comment section. Because I don't think I've seen many hashtag Knicks in the comment section.
I haven't either, Marsh.
We're pretty low. And that's upsetting as we have 240 people watching right now.
If I remember, I specifically called out Carl, and Carl is not asking.
Carl did not ask a question. I saw my dog, S-Teacher Planner, in the comment section. No question from her.
Come on.
That's upsetting.
BX Mel, get that question in there.
Hashtag Knicks in the comment section. Drop your questions down below. Shout out to you guys. And if you could, S-Teacher Planner, I need you to ask a question for the mailbag about the Knicks. You can AMA, ask me anything, or we can talk some New York Knicks basketball. Just include the hashtag Knicks in your comment section. My guy Big Blue did a really good job, but he didn't put a space after the S and the I, so therefore it's not going to work. It's got to look like this, like hashtag Knicks. Why does Seep suck at shop fun?
I'm waiting for it to come in the chat.
Like it should look like that. Hashtag Knicks. Something like that. So go ahead, ask a question. We'll get to the mailbag in about 15 minutes or so. But if I could, as we got 240 people watching, if y'all could hit that thumbs up icon, I'd greatly appreciate it. If we get to 150 likes, I'm going to take a shot of tequila to get things rolling. Big Blue, great question. We appreciate you. Hashtag Knicks in the comments. Felicia just put hashtag Knicks, no question. So did JV Bronx, and so did Jeremy. Jesus Christ.
That's just the effort, guys.
I like it. If you have a question, include it in that comment. All righty, let's get into it. Perfect offseason. Let's go. With the NBA Finals in the rearview mirror and NBA free agency and trade season right in front of us, I wanted to sit down and put my general manager hat on and map out a perfect offseason plan. One, it's not perfect because there's nothing perfect. It's just a buzzword that we're using. This is my offseason plan. If I were the general manager of the New York Knicks, this is what I would do. But kind of to save face on that, I kept the idea of what I think the Knicks want to accomplish or what I think the Knicks want to do. So I tried to keep it realistic. I tried to do things that I only think the Knicks would do, and I did my best to make the New York Knicks NBA Finals contenders for the foreseeable future. So before we get into my plan, I think it's important to look at what you got in the cupboard. Right now, the Knicks have 4 first-round picks for the 2024 draft. Notice I didn't say 2023 because the Knicks don't have any first-round picks this year. They have 2 first-round picks in 2025, 8 tradable first-round picks at the moment, and 10 first-round picks in the next 7 years. So if you have 4 first-round picks in 2024, the first-round picks that you do own in 2024, you own your own. You own the Dallas Mavericks pick, which is top 10 protected. You own the Detroit Pistons pick, which is top 12 protected, top 16. I think it's 16 protected. And the Washington Wizards pick, which is top 12. So you have a whole bunch of picks to trade. If you want to make a trade, you got picks to move. I'll let you know this much. We're making trades. But step number one, as Marshall is the general manager of the Knicks, you got to re-sign Josh Hart. Make it happen. It's probably going to cost you $18 million per year, but it doesn't matter because the New York Knicks would not have probably been a playoff team and would definitely not have beat the Cleveland Cavaliers if it wasn't for Josh Hart. He absolutely changed the season. When you look at any in-depth metric, offensive or defense, the difference between pre-Josh Hart and post-Josh Hart are staggering. The Knicks were legit, analytically, one of the best NBA teams this season with Josh Hart. So I'm re-signing Josh Hart, and that is my number one move that I'm going to make. Move number 2, I would love to trade Julius Randle. I would love to blast him into the sun and never let him wear a New York Knicks jersey again. But that's not going to happen. At least I don't think it will. I hope it does. So for today's show, I am going to operate under the assumption that the Knicks are going to keep Julius Randle. So the question you have to ask yourself is, how can the Knicks get better as a basketball team, as a roster, for now and the future if you keep Julius Randle? Let's take a look at the roster. Jalen Brunson, he's not going anywhere. I don't think Quentin Grimes is going anywhere unless you're trading for a star. I don't believe that Julius Randle is going anywhere. Could RJ Barrett be on the move? Potentially. Could Mitchell Robinson be on the move? Potentially. Emmanuel Quickly, I think, could be involved in a big trade. Hart's coming back, but then everybody else, I think, is expendable. I think you can move Sims and Hartenstein and Washington and Toppin or Roby or Keels or Fournier or McBride or Derrick Rose. But an upgrade at center seems most likely, in my opinion. If the New York Knicks are going to hold on to Julius Randle, which I think they will, I think the only way to make this team better, or one of the best and easiest ways to make this team better, is upgrading at the center spot. And the center that I want on the New York Knicks is Myles Turner. I am a big fan of Myles Turner's game. 6'11", 250 pounds, only 26 years old. He actually just turned 27 years old. Not even scratching the surface of who he can be. And he just put out his best season in the NBA. This past year, Myles Turner averaged 18 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, He also gave you 2.3 blocks per game. He shot 54% from the deck and 37% from downtown. But he also shot 4 threes a night. So the guy is getting up consistent looks and he's knocking them down consistently. I also like that he expanded his offensive game this year. He went from 12.1 points per game to 12.6 to 12.9 to 18. He's also led the NBA twice in blocks per game. He did it in 2020 when he averaged 3.4 blocks per game, and he did it in 2018 when he averaged 2.7 blocks per game. But if you're going to trade for somebody, you're going to have to give something up. And this is my trade idea for Myles Turner. We have heard a lot of smoke around the Indiana Pacers and the fact that they want Obi Toppin on their basketball team. So I'll give you Mitchell Robinson as a person you can replace him. I'll give you Obi Toppin as a player that's going to sweeten up the deal, a young player you have at that power forward spot. And I'll give you Evan Fournier, who is an expiring contract of $18 million. Do I think this is enough? Maybe. Maybe you have to add a first-round pick, but I don't think you have to add much more to this at all. I truly believe adding a guy like Myles Turner to this offense would open up the game for Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, who, remember, I want to trade. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I want to ask you, would you make this trade? Type A for accept, type D for decline. I want to hear from you down below. Step number 3, after we've re-signed Josh Hart and we've traded for Myles Turner, you need another talent upgrade in the starting 5. So you look at what this starting 5 is for the New York Knicks. Brunson, like we said, not going anywhere. Hopefully he retires the New York Knicks. Quentin Grimes, I don't think the Knicks want to trade him considering he was deemed as untouchable in the the Donovan Mitchell trades this past summer. I think R.J. Barrett is the only player on this picture right now that will and can be moved. And the upgrade that I'm making from R.J. Barrett in my starting 5 is Zach Lavine. Bring me Zach Lavine. Zach Lavine is a top 5 scoring guard in the NBA. The dude hasn't averaged under 23.7 points per game in the last 5 seasons. And he had another great season for the Chicago Bulls. The dude is special. He can get it to his spot whenever he needs to, and he can get off a look whenever he has to. 24.8 points per game, 4.5 rebounds. He also can dish and swish, 4.2 assists, 48.5% from the field, and 37.5% from 3. He is a massive upgrade on the offensive end compared to R.J. Barrett. So I'm going to get a little bit into my nerd basketball bag right here, because some people are probably in the comment section saying right now, is R.J. Barrett like not as good as Lavine? Is Lavine really that much better than R.J. Barrett? Look at the stats on screen. When you talk about true shooting percentage, he laps him. 60.7% to 53. His assist percentage, which pretty much means how often he gets assists. He's a better passer. 18.7 to 12.4. And when you talk about VORP, it means value over replacement player, which pretty much means how much better are you than the average basketball player. According to the stats, R.J. Barrett is worse than the average basketball player, and Zach Lavine is 2.7 better. Also, the OBPM and the DBPM, which means the defensive box plus minus and offensive box plus minus, which pretty much determines how good a player is on offense. Zach Lavine is 3.9 points per 100 possession better than R.J. Barrett, and he's 1.2 points per 100 possessions better on the defensive end. So it pretty much tells you Zach Lavine's a better shooter, he's a better passer, he's a better defender, and he's a better scorer. And I like R.J. Barrett. If you are a fan of the program, you know, last offseason, I didn't want to trade R.J. Barrett. I said, no way, no how am I including R.J. Barrett in a Donovan Mitchell trade. But business is business, and it's strictly financial. RJ, I think you're going to be a good player in this league. I think you're going to be someone that's going to have a long, successful career. But business is business, and it's strictly financial. Lavine over RJ is a huge upgrade. You're getting a player that operates on the perimeter, that can score 40 any single night, and light it up from three. Zach Lavine is one of the best pull-up three-point shooters in the NBA. I'm tired of having players in RJ Barrett and Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson that can only score in the paint. The Knicks need another ball handler. They need another guy that can operate from the perimeter and score baskets via jump shots. Zach Lavine, he can do that. And I know you're already saying it, but Marshall, Zach Lavine, he's an injury-prone player. Zach Lavine has played in 85% of the games in the last 5 seasons. I'll say that again. Zach Lavine has played in 85% of games in the last 5 seasons. He's not an injury-prone player. Did he have injuries early in his career that, were concerning about his knees? Absolutely. But I'll say it again. He's played in 85% of his games in the last 5 seasons. And I already know you're saying this too. But what about the contract? Oh, my lordy. What about the contract? It's not that bad. That's what you pay a star. You pay a star $37 million. You pay a star $40 million. Just like this number continues to go up, the salary cap is going to continue to go up. The deal is not that bad. And Zach Lavine, he's 28 years old. He's just entering the prime of his NBA career. But what is it going to cost? What is it going to cost? This is my best guess at what a deal could potentially look like. We already moved Evan Fournier in that Mitchell Robinson, Myles Turner deal, so you need someone else as a salary filler. I'm going to pick up the team option with Derrick Rose. We're going to let Derrick Rose know I'm sending you back to the Rose Garden. I'm sending you back to Chicago alongside RJ Barrett with a 2024 first-round pick via the Detroit Pistons, which is top 18 protected. I'm also going to give you a 2025 first-round pick via the New York Knicks, which is unprotected. And I'm going to give you the 2025 first via the Milwaukee Bucks, which is top 3 protected. So I'm giving you 1 unprotected, 2 protected, an expiring deal in Derrick Rose, and a 22-year-old wing that you can actually build an identity around in Chicago. I want to ask this. Who wins this trade? If this deal were to go down and you got the push notification that the New York Knicks have acquired Zach Lavine and you saw the trade details, who do you think wins this deal? Type NYK for the Knicks or CHI for the Chicago Bulls. Step number 4, as you have fixed your starting lineup. Your starting lineup is now Jalen Brunson, Zach Lavine, you got Quentin Grimes, you also have Julius Randle, unfortunately, and you have Myles Turner. What do you do to fill out the rest of the team? You got to fill out the bench. Luckily for the Knicks, they still have their non-taxpayer mid-level exception after those trades, and you still have the biannual exception. You can split this up multiple ways. You could pay someone $12 million, or you could also just pay someone $4.5 million. So you look at what the bench and what the Knicks currently have if these moves were to have gone down. You got Emmanuel quickly as your backup point guard. You got Deuce McBride as your Energizer Bunny off the bench. Look, if Chicago wants Deuce McBride or Jericho Sims, I'll throw those guys in as well if that helps facilitate a trade. But you still got Josh Hart and you still got Hartenstein, which means you got a backup guard in Quickly, you got a backup wing in Josh Hart, and you got a backup big in Isaiah Hartenstein. What do the Knicks still need to be elite? They still need shooting off of the bench. And since they still have those 2 available exceptions, I've already got my eyes on 2 shooters that can come off the bench. You need a backup power forward since you moved on from Obi Toppin. What about bringing in a guy like Trey Lyles, 6'9", 234 pounds, out of Kentucky? We know the New York Knicks have a really good relationship with Kentucky. Shout out to Worldwide West. There's been a pipeline from Kentucky to the Knicks for it feels like forever. So I'm going to add Trey Lyles, who averaged 7.6 points per game, 4 rebounds, and shot 36% from 3. But he's not just a 3-point shooter. He can facilitate and he can rebound. He's actually a power forward, unlike Obi Toppin. But I still want a shooter off the bench that can play the guard spot. So I'm bringing in Seth Curry, one of the best shooters off the bench in the National Basketball Association. The guy shot 40% from downtown and 46% from the field. Seth Curry has averaged 18 points per game in a playoff series before. So you beefed up your bench by signing Seth Curry and Trey Lyles. So now you're starting 5 after Marshall has taken the seat of Leon Rose, and we went out and made a move for Zach Lavine. We went out and made a move for Myles Turner. I got players that I thought would make Jalen Brunson better and that Brunson would make them better, and I believe that would happen and vice versa. You still got Quentin Grimes, You still got Jalen Brunson, and you're still young. None of these guys are older than 29 years old. And you actually have a good bench that actually has individual skill sets and can shoot the basketball quickly. We know what he can do. Seth Curry. His last name is Curry. You also got Josh Hart, who is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I like the intangibles that Trey Lyles brings. He can shoot. He can bully up in the paint a little bit, and he's a good facilitator. And you still got Isaiah Hartenstein. As long as you still got Quickly and the Hart Bros off the bench, that's all you need. But I'll also take a knockdown shooter in Seth Curry and Trey Lyles. But now you're probably saying, we did all of that, and what future do we have? We're still mid. One, you're not mid. You would be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. But I didn't go all in. You could still make multiple moves going forward. You still have the Dallas Mavericks first-round pick. You still have the Washington Wizards first-round pick. And you still have your own first-round pick. So if I need to sprinkle a couple more first-round picks to facilitate those trades we talked about earlier in the video, I would do that. You don't have a first-round pick in 2025, but that's the only year you don't have a first-round pick. You still got your own in 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, and as far as you could throw a rock, that's how many more first-round picks you have per year. So if another deal became available and you wanted to go all in for an actual superstar that became available, you could do it. But I'm not done adding to the roster. The trade deadline that I am player I'm looking at is TBD, but I'm looking for another wing defender, someone that could be a true lockdown defender that could play alongside Josh Hart off the bench. But I don't think you need to make a trade. But I do think if you were, the deadline target would be a wing defender or another talent upgrade in the starting lineup. So I want to ask this question. And don't be easy on me. Be mean. Grade me on a really tough scale. Grade my off-season plan. A, B, C, D, or F. I want to hear from you down below. As always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Knicks Now by Chat Sports. If you want to talk more Knicks ball over on Twitter, do it. Hit me up at @MarshallGreen_. Tyler says B. Kuzma is a bum. I don't know why we're talking about Kyle Kuzma. Cad says B-. Kenneth says B+. Andrew's giving it an A. James gives it a B. Jameer says B+. I appreciate you, bro. Oruko says, Marshall, you get a B for sure, man. Marvin gives me an A-. I am Jules says A++. I literally agree with everything. Thank you, bro. Christopher says C. Johnson, you says B. Got to sprinkle in some more picks. Which trade do you think you got to add more picks to? Let me know. Quentin, what up, Quentin Gilliam, I think. I'm sorry if I messed it up. He's giving me a B. R Cool C66 is giving it an A. Jeremy says, if possible, should we trade Randle for the number 3 pick? Yeah, if we lived in an alternate universe where the Blazers valued Randle as a number 3 overall pick, but that's not going to happen. The angry casual fan says C+ because you traded D Rose. Okay, that's fair. I am Jules says, I love the Seth Curry. I'd love for Seth Curry to be a member of the Knicks. Rich says B because it's wild sensible, but all that collected capital for those names scares me. If that fails, we're the old Knicks again. We aren't though, Rich. We're not the same old Knicks because look, you still have 3 first-round picks in 2024, and you have a first in 2026 and 2027. Neither of those trades were all-in moves. You still would have 5 first-round picks over the next 4 years. I wouldn't say that's the same old Knicks. You still have more picks to trade. Carl says solid B, but it's a lot for marginal growth. Marginal growth? That team would beat last year's Knicks team by 30. They would sweep them.
What are they saying?
We're getting a lot of A's, a lot of B's. Carl and Rich are not happy, though.
Carl and Rich are
Carl
happy?
says it's a lot to give up for marginal growth.
Carl.
How is that marginal growth?
Hold on. Carl, even just the starting lineup.
How is this marginal growth? You went from R.J. Barrett, legitimately one of the least efficient players into the NBA, to Zach Lavine, who was one of the most efficient offensive scorers. You went from Mitchell Robinson, who was getting hacked in the NBA playoffs to shoot free throws, to a 37% three-point shooter in Myles Turner and a guy that has actually led the league in blocks twice. And then you get a bench.
How do you guard this? Like, this is an incredibly elite offensive starting five.
I wish I would have said it in the video. Sure, does the defense kind of lack a little bit? But honestly, I don't think it does because Lavine is a better defender than R.J. Barrett. And sure, Myles Turner is not the offensive rebounder that Mitchell Robinson is, but I would say Turner is just as good, if not a little bit worse of a defender than Mitchell Robinson.
Honestly, the only thing that would make it like more perfect would be if you could somehow move off Randle and get a more true defender.
I would love to trade Randle, but I just don't see how you can do that.
She got some soups to roll through here.
We're getting a lot of B's, a lot of A's. Carl wants more defense and more depth. I guess. I don't know where you're getting those.
But this is interesting from Jameer CP, Marsh.
Jameer, we appreciate the super chat, man. He says, let's get B.I. out of New Orleans because Zion's screwing them over. He deserves better. I like Brandon Ingram a lot. Special player.
God, that would be a sneaky guy. Or if you would trade for him, it would be like, oh, shit, here we go. Like, I love Ingram.
I don't know if the Pelicans are trading Ingram.
Yeah, definitely.
Has Ingram got that dog in him?
I don't know. Maybe.
Does he bleed basketball, or does he just hoop because he's good at it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I love his game. Like, I think, he's 6'9", 6'10", put the ball on the deck. Like, Randle for B.I., you're going to have to throw in a little more. Like, Randle, a couple first. But then again, like, what direction are the Pelicans going?
Why would they want Randle?
Yeah, exactly.
And why would they want RJ? They already have young wings.
Yeah.
They got Herb Jones, and they have the other guy. I'm blanking on his name. The really good defender. Why am I blanking on this dude's name?
Jackson Hayes? No. Herb Jones.
Trey Murphy.
Oh, Trey Murphy.
They don't need RJ Barrett.
True. Yeah, why aren't the Pelicans winning games? They're the weirdest. They're one of the weirdest teams.
Hey, if we can get Brandon Ingram, I'd be cool with that. But as I always like to say, the injuries with him scare me.
If you would go get Ingram, it would probably have to be like Barrett, Grimes, and Quickly.
And I don't want to give up Quickly and Grimes.
Yeah, they would want some young pieces.
Jameer back again with another super chat. He says, we need floor spacing, no doubt. 100%. I watched every single regular season game and every single postseason game. The number one need for the Knicks to grow is outside shooting. How did we improve that? We added literally one of the best three-point shooting big men in the league, and we added Zach Lavine, who is maybe a top 5 scoring shooting guard and three-point shooter in the league. So, yeah, I agree.
And plus, how many times did you see the Knicks teams throw that 2-3 at them?
You can't play zone against that team.
No, you can't. Like,
you ain't playing zone against that
out.
team.
Like,
Julius Randle went from being your second best three-point shooter to being the worst three-point shooting in that starting lineup.
Yeah. I like it.
Jameer says Marshall for GM. Okay, I see it. I appreciate you, my man. Jameer, I appreciate you, bro. I just knew you knew ball. I knew you knew ball. Johnson, you says Seeps. As a Bulls fan, do you think that's enough for Lavine?
So we were kind of joking around about this before. Marsh threw in the D-Rose thing to kind of, tickle my fancy a little bit. But honestly, like, picks-wise, I love it. Obviously, you guys know I watched a lot of Knicks ball this year. RJ, I like it. I don't love it. This is a trade, though, where it's like the Bulls would pivot to a full rebuild, and I think just getting the picks would be enough value. I would be intrigued. And plus, like, RJ's still 22. He could develop into something. You keep me intrigued a little bit.
He was one of the better players in that Cavs series, to be fair.
He was. I mean,
I just don't think that his place – because, look, I would rather trade Randle and keep RJ. But for the Knicks to get better, one, you're not getting better in a Julius Randle trade. You can get better in an RJ Barrett trade.
Yeah. Yeah, but from my side, I think this is good.
Love this question from Kevin Middleton. He says, who's guarding big wings with that 5? Luka, KD, Booker, Tatum. Who was guarding the big wings in last year's starting 5?
Yeah.
It was Quentin Grimes. Please don't tell me you think R.J. Barrett was defending those guys.
Or Josh Hart, too. I mean,
Because I'll tell you this right now. When you look at defensive rating, Lavine is better than R.J. Barrett. And R.J. Barrett is 6'6". Lavine is 6'5".
I will say this about Lavine. He has the capability to play defense. That is the number one frustration as a Bulls fan, is when he wants to lock in on that defensive side floor, and you'll see it in spurts, like, he is a good defender. He's long, he's freaky athletic, you guys know this. Who knows, maybe a guy like Tibbs could get that out of him. Like, maybe Tibbs could be the guy that, kind of wakes Lavine up a little bit.
You can coach good defense. You can coach a subpar defensive team to be a good defensive team.
Yeah.
You can't coach a subpar offensive team to be a good offensive team.
Yeah, and we've seen the Heat are a great example of that. Spo is trying to get every little thing out of that Heat offense, and he just frankly couldn't.
Yeah. I don't know. If that was the Knicks offseason, I'd be fucking pumped.
Yeah, you should be.
I would be absolutely pumped. My guy Jack coming in with a $20 super chat. I appreciate you, man. He says, we were good this year, and I'd run it back with the same squad with maybe another 3-and-D wing. Lavine's contract is more than he's worth. Got to be patient and wait for that real star to become available. I would argue, Jack, that the moves that I made still have you in maybe the best position in the NBA to actually trade for a star.
Yeah.
Because you're going from trading R.J. Barrett to trading Zach LaVine then. And you still have Grimes, and you still have Quickly.
Yeah. And plus, like, what other star, like, are you waiting on? Like, you waiting on Giannis? Like, you waiting on...
There's no perfect player.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you waiting on SGA? Like, the Thunder, like, teams, like, aren't going to be willing to... I don't know. I think Marsh made a good point, like, the whole CBA direction and everything. Like, maybe the time to strike is now. Like, because clearly the East...
You only got Brunson for 2 more years on that cheap deal.
Yeah, take advantage of it. But, like, besides the Bucks, who in the East are you really, like, scared of? The Celtics still have an unreal talented roster. They'll be back. But, like, besides that, like, the Knicks have a real chance here. Like, if they could somehow sneak their way to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe the Bucks get eliminated or something, goes down. Or this year, like, Giannis gets hurt. Like, time to strike is now.
That starting 5. I think it's the best starting 5 in the NBA.
Let's see. Hold on. I just want to look at it again. Best starting 5 in the NBA.
That's 50 wins guaranteed.
Yeah, the only thing that I would argue is Randle and how he fits in with all this. Like,
that's a huge worry, and I understand that.
Because there's a lot of shots right here. Like, Lavine and Brunson are getting their shots. Turner's going to want to get his. Like, can Randle be okay with being the 3rd or 4th option on every single night?
That's a fair question.
That's the only thing. Because, all right, you have this lineup, you put Kuzma instead of Randle. I would like it a whole lot more. And Randle's a better player than Kuzma.
Yeah, look, you don't have to put a gun to my head to make me want to trade Randle. I was just operating under the premise that it's not going to happen.
See, talent-wise, definitely, good luck guarding them if they're all hitting their shots.
The spacing would be beautiful.
I mean, you could run 5 out, you could run 3 out, 2 in, like, you could run high lows with those 2.
Like,
I would be intrigued, man.
Let's just get some good players. Like,
yeah, get the talent and figure it out after.
And what if your closing? I know this would never happen. What if in your closing lineup, sit down Randle and you put in Josh Hart?
Yeah.
That team's fire.
Hey, that would be sick. Like, because then you would have defenders too. Like,
my only worry about what I did was you don't have a true wing, like a true 6'9" wing. But
True.
Where are those guys?
Exactly.
Where are they?
They're very rare.
Where are they?
Lavine's not injury prone.
Like, and if you're worried about Turner missing some games, you got 2 really good young cheap backup centers in Hartenstein and Sims.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think this is a team that can compete for a title. I really do.
Yeah.
But
then again, like, I just took the negative view of it of, like, what if Randle fucks it up? What if he fits in perfectly? Like, what if having the floor spacing of Lavine, Grimes, and Brunson, like, just opens up the lane for him and he turns into, maybe Randle puts the 3-ball away and maybe he turns into a guy like Aaron Gordon. Like, where he's more bully ball and, like, he plays that true 4 really well. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just so much talent on the screen right now.
And that's what I want. I just want talent.
Like, with this 5, you would be thinking every single game, you got a chance to win.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, no matter who it is. It could be the Bucks at full strength. They're like, you know what, if Lavine and Brunson have a game and Randle comes along and Turner does what he does, like.
Carl says, why is Seep so willing to give up Lavine if he's that good? I'll answer it for you, because the Bulls, as currently constructed, have to have Lavine as their first best player.
Yeah.
For the Knicks, Lavine is a luxury.
Yeah.
He's a luxury. The Knicks have their best player in Jalen Brunson.
And plus the Bulls have no culture or leadership. Like, I feel like Lavine would be an
and no
instant
picks.
fit. And no picks. Yeah, exactly. Like, the Bulls are in a tough spot. Like,
the Bulls are the 2019 Knicks. No picks.
yeah.
No future. But you had Julius Randle and you had Lavine. Look, if Lonzo Ball didn't get hurt, I wouldn't trade Zach Lavine.
Yeah, but the Bulls had that Lonzo injury. They have to completely pivot where they want to go as a franchise. See, Carl, yeah, that's the question. Like, it's just gonna, if that would happen, there would need to be a conversation, and maybe that's like something where the
What
Knicks,
if they all just average like 22 points per game?
That would be perfect. And Brunson maybe is more.
Let's
of
not
an
act
assist
like
guy.
R.J. Barrett didn't get a lot of shots last year.
Yeah, seriously. And plus, like, with a lineup like that, like, it may take a couple weeks to figure it out. Like, I feel like that's something where the Knicks could maybe start 500 through the first, like, 30 games and then really ramp it up with that lineup once they really start to figure it out offensively.
R.J. shot 16 shots last year.
A game?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, Lavine shot 18 being the number 1 option.
So 2 more shots. You got to come up with 2 more shots.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
R.J., 16 shots. Let's not, and he shot 43%. 31% from downtown. That's a joke.
And what do you average per game?
19.6.
So Lavine was 18 shots a game and averaged 25 on pretty solid efficiency.
Great efficiency. He's damn near a 50, 40, 90 guy. R.J. Barrett can barely count to 90.
And also, I will say, Lavine, he's been dealing with that elbow past couple of years. This is kind of his first full offseason where he kind of gets to just work on his game again. So
and also, Zach Lavine is a better finisher around the rim than R.J. Barrett as well.
Oh, my God. Lavine is one of the more underrated finishers in the league. He's a freak athlete.
Oh, wow. I should have put this in the show. R.J. Barrett, last year, wow, I will admit, got better around the rim. He's still just league average. He's still just league average, man.
Yeah, BX. Like, RJ's got no layup. Like, Lavine, the thing is with Lavine, offensively, and Marsh, you can disagree. Ask him to do whatever. He can do it.
He can do everything.
Probably besides post score, like besides get a post look. But if you're talking about getting to the rim, hit a pull-up midi, hit a pull-up 3, catch and shoot 3, whatever it may be, like facilitate, like get in the lane, like this shot, like he has everything in his bag. ISO or not.
This is wild. Zach Lavine shots at the rim last year, 403. R.J. Barrett shots at the rim last year, 402. R.J. Barrett's shot percentage at the rim, 63%. Zach Lavine, 69%.
Wow. He's a high flyer. I mean,
he's 6% better at the rim, and he's 6% better, or 6% better from 3.
I mean, there should be no debate that Lavine, you slot him in that lineup instead of RJ. Honestly, the Knicks probably beat the Heat. Like,
oh my gosh! If you had Lavine over Barrett, yes, they beat the Heat.
100%. Like, God, could you imagine? Jalen Brunson, Lavine, like the LeBron, Kyrie 41-point games. Like, it would just be Lavine and Brunson going back and forth. Oh, the number one, like, who would be the most happy would be Jalen Brunson. Have another guard in that backcourt to just be like, because then Brunson could just throw the ball and just kind of hang out. He was not able to do that.
Wild. Wild, wild. All righty, we're going to close the show with a mailbag. If you want to be featured on the show, go ahead, use hashtag Knicks or Super Chat. Who is Saki?
I don't know.
Saki's in the chat, says Cam. Oh my God, we're talking Cam Reddish.
Cam Reddish.
Enough of the Cam Reddish shit. You guys told me last summer how good he was. He sucked. He sucked. He legit sucked.
Playground hooper.
Hashtag Knicks, though, or Super Chat. Let's roll. Let's close this out.
Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We got a mailbag coming up for all of the real ones out there. Wanted to get back to our roots of the channel and just chop it up with all of the real ones. If you didn't get your question on today's show, it's your own damn fault because it means you're not subscribed to the channel. So fix that. So go down right now, hit that big red button, and hit the sub button. Let's go. First question coming in from To The Moon. Okay, what's up, To The Moon? He says, do you think the Knicks trade Obi Toppin? If I had to place money on a player on the Knicks roster that I think is most likely to be traded, I do believe it is Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, just like Emmanuel Quickley, are due for contract extensions this summer. I don't believe that Obi Toppin will get one, which means he's going to be on the final year of his deal, which means the Knicks could run the risk of losing him for nothing, which tells me the Knicks are going to move on from Obi Toppin. Look, I'm a fan of Obi. I like the story. I like the New York blood that the kid's got. I think he's a burst of energy at times, and I think he can be a spark plug for your offense. But at the end of the day, when the Knicks drafted Obi Toppin inside the lottery, they had no idea that Barrett was, Julius Randle was going to have 2 All-NBA seasons in 3 years. And for that reason, that's why I'm moving Obi. There's no role for him here. There's no room for him to get better. And there's no minutes for him to have. You cannot play RJ and Obi together. 1, because your coach is Tibbs, and 2, I don't think it works. So for that reason, I think the Knicks are going to shop Obi Toppin this offseason. But should they trade him? This is your chance to weigh in. Should the Knicks trade Obi Toppin? I want to hear from you guys down below. Type T for trade, type K for keep. I just think when you read the room and you kind of look at everything, seems like Obi Toppin is on his way out. T Money, what up, T? Says, would Paul George be a better option as a pure 3 than Zach Lavine? Yes, but one is hurt all the time and one is not. One is 28 years old. I'll double check that real quick. Zach Lavine is 28 and Paul George is 33. So, sure. In a vacuum, I would rather have Paul George. But when you talk about injuries and you talk about age, it kind of makes me sour a little bit on Paul George. Like, if I'm creating a player and I could have a perfect small forward for the Knicks, it would be Paul George. But why do I want to trade for a 33-year-old player that hasn't been healthy in how long? I think Paul George is a better basketball player in a vacuum than Zach Lavine, but Zach Lavine is younger by 5 years, and he plays basketball. So for that reason, I would choose Zach Lavine. But I do think George is a better player in a vacuum and on 2K. Jameer, my guy, says, let's get Brandon Ingram out of New Orleans because Zion is screwing them over. He deserves better. I'm a big fan of Brandon Ingram. I think he's got a game that would fit really well as the Knicks starting small forward. He can get a bucket whenever he has to. This past year, he averaged 24.7 points per game. But the guy hasn't played in more than 62 games since 2016. This past year, Brandon Ingram, 45 games played. Year before, 55 games played. Then 61, then 62, then 52, then 59. Great talent, great player. I wonder if he's got that dog in him. Like, does he care about winning or does he care about Brandon Ingram? Great player, no doubt about it. Look, you don't average 24 points per game on 48% from the deck and 39% from 3 without being great, But the guy played in 45 games. There's 82 in a season. Steven Vargas says, will the Knicks be contenders or pretenders for the 2023-2024 season? I'm hoping they're contenders. I think that you have a good nucleus here. I believe in the vision of this front office. And I believe with Jalen Brunson, you're always going to be a team that can compete in the NBA. If you just run it back, I think you are a pretender. But I don't just expect the Knicks to run it back. You can't sit on your chips forever. You got to cash them in at some point. I think they make a move, and I think they make a move with the idea of being contenders. And let's hope that's what the Knicks are this year. We're going to get to more questions from all the real ones out there, but we got an awesome deal out there for the real ones. When you go to chatsports.com/Knicks combo, you're going to get 2 Knicks t-shirts for $29.99. $29, 2 t-shirts. You're not going to beat the deal. Go to chatsports.com/Knicks combo. Marvin Daniels, what up, man? Mikal Bridges would be a great, yeah, he would. He would. It's a pipe dream, though. It's a pipe dream. Nets aren't trading Mikal Bridges. They've been on record a couple of times this offseason. But if I could make a wish list of players I want the Knicks to add, Mikal Bridges is in probably my top 10, maybe even top 5. Huge fan of Mikal Bridges. I think he plays the game the right way, and he's young, not even close to his ceiling, and I think it would be awesome to get the Villanova boys back together. But we're going to have to wait for him to be a free agent. There's no way, no how are the Brooklyn Nets trading Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks. Johnson, what up, bro? Says, how would Cat's big contract limit us from making moves in future trades with the new cap going up? I think it limits you in a lot of ways. Let's say, just for the sake of making things easy, right? The trade that you make for Karl Anthony Towns includes Julius Randle and Evan Fournier to get the money. You're paying Cat an absolute bag. You're paying Mitchell Robinson $15 million. You're giving Josh Hart $18 million. You're giving RJ Barrett $25 million. You're going to have to give Jalen Brunson $50 million in a couple of years. All of your salary cap is warped up into a couple of players. And same could be said about other players. But I think Katz is a little bit different with him getting paid $60 million. I think Kat's a good player. I think he's a nice guy. He ain't built for New York. He's just not. He's not. Danny Mack says, do you guys think Russell Westbrook will go crazy at the Garden every night or nah? Nah. Donnie, we did a video on Russell Westbrook a couple of days ago. I got all the respect in the world for Russell Westbrook. He's got that dog in him. His mentality's better, probably suited for being a boxer or a fighter. Thing is, you got to make jump shots in the NBA. And that's never been a strong suit of his. I don't really want Westbrook on this team. No, I do not, Donnie. What is your goal for the Knicks next season? I'm curious what all you guys are going to say here. I would say the Knicks overachieved this year. I remember during last year's offseason, I said 43, 44, 45 wins. Let's be a top 6 seed. Let's be a playoff team and not a play-in team. They did that and then some. They won a playoff series, and they took the Miami Heat, the Eastern Conference representatives, to 6 games, and I think they should have won that series. My goal, Eastern Conference Finals. What's yours? BK Ray. What up, homie? Would you make a deal for Beal and Kristaps, and what would you give up? Yeah, I would. RJ and Barrett, straight up. Who says no? I mean, RJ and Julius for Beal and Kristaps, straight up. Can we make that happen? I would love to trade for Beal. I think Porzingis would be fun. But I just don't think the Knicks, and Ian Begley said it, he doesn't think the Knicks are going to go after Porzingis. Beal, though, keep your eyes on him. I think Beal's definitely a player the Knicks are intrigued by. Big Blue, Keldon Johnson trade. I like Keldon Johnson as a player. I worry a little bit about the outside shot. You can always develop and learn that. But why would the San Antonio Spurs trade one of their young blue chip prospects as they're getting ready to add Victor Wembanyama to the fold? Sure, I'd love to have Keldon Johnson. Don't think it's all that realistic, as I think the Spurs want to build around Johnson and Wemby instead of trading the best young player they have on their roster. Donnie back with, again, another one. Can we trade Tibbs? Yes, but no. Any coach that doesn't enforce the team to attack a freshly injured Jimmy Buckets. Yeah, still kind of weird that the Knicks didn't do that. I think Tibbs had too much respect for Jimmy Butler in that series. Is there a ceiling for Tom Thibodeau? Yes. Have the Knicks reached that ceiling? No. And until we do, I think it's kind of worthless to talk about a new coach because I don't think he's going anywhere. Right or wrong, left or right, I don't think Tibbs is going anywhere. As always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Knicks Now by Chat Sports. If I missed your question, send me a DM over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_, and I'll answer it over there. Sherwin says the Knicks need to move RJ back to the shooting guard and get a small forward who can shoot, create, defend, and rebound. Thing is, Seeps, most shooting guards actually can shoot. RJ Barrett did in the playoffs, but didn't in the regular season. I still don't have a clear evaluation on Barrett.
I know he is so tough because if you take everything before that Cleveland series,
yeah,
you're you're ready to move off. You're done with him. But he did go on a nice little run in the postseason. So
he played well. All righty, we're going to sign off on today's show. We've been live for an hour and a half. We'll be live. RJ is a bully shooting guard. Well, I would hope so. He's 6'7", 230.
I wish he was more of a bullying shooting guard. That shouldering somebody every once in a while.
All righty, we'll see you later. Shout out to you guys, the real ones. We'll see you.